Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is called What Your Past Lovers Would Say About You. We are going to get into some tea spillage today. We are going to spill the tea and we are going to find out what your past lovers would say about you. If somebody asked them about you or somebody said, hey, how do you remember so-and-so? Or what did you think about your relationship with this person? Or what they would say about you if they were just explaining you to someone, okay? So I thought it would be kind of interesting to look at that. And it is an interesting day to look at that because today we have the moon conjoining Venus in Libra. And then later on tonight, we're gonna have the moon going into Scorpio. So it's a good time to, just kind of get some info, as we would say, right? And what we can learn also too, not just, for spying and things like that, because obviously we want to do everything with the utmost integrity when we're talking about tarot, but also to learn some valuable information, some valuable lessons. Maybe we can use what we receive from spirit for personal growth, or maybe we just understand things in a new way that we didn't see before. And it helps us to move past something, right? It helps us to move through some old energy that's been kind of hanging around that we can definitely move on from. And a lot of times we don't really know how other people see us or what their experience was like with us. And then later on, we find out, wow, okay. And all that information is feedback. It's all feedback, isn't it? So let's go ahead and get into it. And we are gonna take a look. For those of you that would like to follow me on my other channel, Light of Ascension Tarot, I have a bunch of other videos on that channel, and there's a link in the description box below. On that channel, I do, more spiritual type cards, more, deeper inner self type of things. Although I have a tendency to go there in any reading I do. I feel like sometimes I tease you guys with the topics of the reading, and then it always goes deeper. It always goes to some deeper place because, that's what we need. That's really the medicine, isn't it? And sometimes we just need to have fun too. Girls just want to have fun. Boys just want to have fun. And I was reminded that the other day of how, things have been so serious in the collective. And I was having a conversation last night that went till, like 3 in the morning. And yeah, and there was talk about being like kids again, or experiencing that kind of joy again, or being a little bit lighter hearted because things have been so heavy in the collective and so divisive as well too. And I was reminded again this morning when I watched another video about how, we as, sovereign beings, we have a right to kind of decide how we want to ride this energetic wave, and I was also talking with someone last night about how, we're in a big reset right now, and there's been a big reset, and we're still, it's like somebody took their finger and put it on the reset button and just held it and held us, held our cute little noses to the grindstone and held that reset button for some time until we got the point, or we got the picture, or we could finally extrapolate the information that we needed. And anyway, that's a whole other topic and a whole other area of ranting. And I feel, I can be very ranty in general. I'm actually the daughter of a preacher. So I can be very ranty and very soapbox-ish at some times. So thanks for putting up with me, everyone. If you want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, details for how to do so are in the description box below. Also, I've opened up private readings again, and there's details below on how to request. At first, I opened up just 20-minute readings. And I'm finding that some people are asking me for they want a little bit more time to explore things, or they need a little bit more time because they want to ask me you know, some important questions, like a general reading, or more things than just a specific situation with a certain person, right? I was thinking of the 20-minute sessions as like quick downloads and advice and stuff like that. I mean, oftentimes, even with the 20-minute private readings, they end up going over the time anyway, because certain things need to be said, and so that's kind of how it goes. But if you're interested in, you know, private reading with me, there's details for how to request below, there's prices. I'm offering 20-minute, 30-minute, and 45-minute private readings, and maybe sometime in the future too, I'll even offer maybe some mentorships, or especially with tarot or things like that. There's so many things I want to do. And yeah, so anyway, that is a lot of information for you all. So let's go ahead and get into your reading, and we will be having extended readings as well. Oh, and before I move the piles aside, we do have to go through the piles too. So we have pile number 1, which is the lime green tea light, lime green for pile number 1. For pile number 2, we have the yellow tea light. And for pile number 3, we have the purple tea light. So just clearing your mind and thinking lime green, yellow, purple. What are you feeling today? What's calling to you? What's resonating for you? What color is pulling you in? Or is your guide whispering in your ear to look at the piles, and then you just feel intuitively drawn into one, right? This is all... I love the pick of cards because it's this mutual reception of psychic energy, okay? It's really cool. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Welcome new subscribers as well, and anybody who's just here wanting to check out the videos. So thank you for being here, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the reading. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it to it. This is exciting. It's fun sometimes to see how other people can see us, right? And what's going on, right? But let's go ahead and get into it. For my pile number 1s, please. Pile number 1, you chose the lime green tea light, and today's reading is called What Your Past Loves Would Say About You. You know, to someone else in passing, or if they were to write a 500-word essay on you, what would they say about you? And yeah, and we're gonna have some tea spillage today. So we're going to find out what they would say about you. And sometimes the things people would say about us, it's like, well, I don't really see myself that way, or I didn't really think I was doing that, or maybe I had an inclination that I was doing that, but I wasn't entirely sure, right? So you know, it's interesting either way. It's a way to gain more knowledge and see what we want to do with that knowledge. Pile number 1, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and take it to the extended reading after this reading. If you want to go deeper into the energies that I'm channeling here, and go deeper into what Spirit would want you to know, what your guides want you to know, etc. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into the energy, pile number 1. So let's channel it in and connect with our guides. Pile number 1, take a breath and let's go for it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to my beautiful pile number 1s and the cosmic egg of their past lovers, their exes, what they would say about, you know, if I could take all their comments and put it in, you know, one circle, what would be the common themes for my pile number 1s that they would be hearing or receiving? And we are asking for this information for pile number 1's highest good, please. And thank you. All right, pile number 1, let's get it, okay? I'm already getting the P names, or Paul, or a name like that. Maybe someone has that as a middle name, or a father's name, or a grandfather's name, a brother's name, but I am getting the P names as well in general. And Spirit just gave me the message, get your motor running, head out on the highway, looking for adventure, all right? So maybe some of you are thinking of taking a road trip, or you like driving to clear your head, or you met this person, you like people that are like this, you have a type, like people that are a little bit adventurous, a little bit of risk takers, exciting type of energy. Okay. And I'm also, Spirit is showing me, I think it's an Elton John song. It's like the sun shining down on me, or it's like the sun going down on me. I think that's, I get it. It's a sexy reference. Pile number 2, it's like the sun going down on me. It's like pile number 1. So maybe you give epic, you know, blowjobs, or you give you bring a lot of joy with your mouth in life. Pile number 1. Spirit always has a sense of humor, at least my guides do. They like to throw me for a loop. So maybe that's something that they would say, is that you have an excellent mouth and you know how to use it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Pile number 1. I'm also getting the V names like Valerie or Victoria. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. We have abundance. This is the Empress in this deck. Okay, so I mean, yeah, very beautiful. Like when you grace people with your presence in their life, it's very uplifting for them. It's very, and I think your exes, like from a positive standpoint, would say, you know, you really know how to hold space for people. You really know how to make an entrance, right? I mean, it's Venus energy, so maybe some of you guys really know how to make an entrance. And, you know, with the Empress, we can talk about, like, you know, you guys may like, I'm getting the word soft. So maybe like soft clothing, or, you know, and just the way, and I'm drawn to the 2 hands, like reaching out, and I feel you're very kind and helpful to others, and you show up for people and you reach out a hand to those that are in need. And, but you also like know how to make an entrance, you know how to capture people's attention, and, you may like get a lot of attention as well at times, even though you don't really know it, or you're not really like swayed by it, or you're not really like, it's more of an internal journey for you, I feel like. And yeah, and you know, your exes, I think, I'm getting the name Shell or Shelly, or the name, or a shell, like it could be like a seashell or something as well here too. I'm also seeing the number 4, 44, or 14, okay? But I mean, there's you, pile number 1, and then there's everybody else, right? So, I mean, your energy is definitely big and bountiful with this, you know, abundance, Empress energy here. And we have 6 of Pentacles, yeah. So, you know, fairness. And this is also another Venus card, because it's a moon in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it's another, like, you know, it's another card about being fair with others. And, you know, I think sometimes maybe they felt that, you know, they might have felt like they were not good enough for you, or that they didn't really fit into your world. Nonetheless, like you would, and I think sometimes they wondered, like, did you really need them? Or how did you see them? Like, did you see them as immature or acting like a child, or, you know, or maybe that you were, it's almost like a very mothering, nurturing energy too, but I think maybe sometimes they felt like, you know, you were the one that was holding it down, or you were the rock, or you were the one that were kind of holding things down, and they were, you know, on the fringes maybe sometimes, or vice versa, you know, take it as it resonates. They were the one holding it down, but somebody definitely feeling like they were being the one holding it down, and the other person was kind of on the fringes, all right? Maybe some of you are very like well-loved by others, or you have some type of public following, or you're like in with the cool crowd, pile number 1. And this person may be feeling a little bit diminutive in your presence, but let's see here. We have the Chariot, so this could be Cancer. So far I'm seeing Taurus, Libra, and Cancer on the table. But, you know, I'm just getting that, tell me what I gotta do to please you. Baby, anything I say I'll do. 'Cause I only wanna make you happy from the bottom of my heart. It's true, right? I'm also seeing the letter G here, or the number 9. And I do feel like this person thinks that maybe sometimes you could be hard to please, or that they were always trying to, you know, figure out what, you know, what would work for you, or what's good for you, or what you needed, right? And I do, maybe this person could worry, some exes could worry about you at times too, because I see her face in the background, and it's kind of like, I also feel like some of your exes might have said that you're really good at taking care of other people's needs, maybe at sometimes to the detriment of yourself. I also feel like I'm seeing the word titty right now too. Titty, titty, bang, bang. Pile number 1. Well, and of course, Cancer energy, which rules, and astrology rules like the chest and the breast and all of that stuff too. I mean, maybe some of them would have some stuff to say about that rockin' body, or that, you know, crazy cool rack, whatever you got going on there, pile number 1. But I mean, yeah, and I also think they would say here with the Chariot that you go after what you want. You go after what you want, you know, or there may have been in a time in your life when you didn't, but now you do, right? And they really do see you as a winner, I feel like too. I feel like sometimes they wondered if you were happy with them though, or if you were just happy with your life in general. And ooh, yeah, here's the hand on the titties. Here's the titty bounce. I was seeing, this isn't even an 18+ reading. Baby, please ride me, get up on me now, face the other way, reverse it, cowgirl. Well, I mean, he's holding on to her boobs, but yeah, I mean, I think this person would say that you're really good at, you know, you have a rockin' rack, or you have a rockin' bod, or they love to feel you up. Yeah, I mean, I think some of you guys may have epic boobies, all right? So I'm definitely getting that energy here too. It's like with the Empress, mommy, right? Have you guys seen that TikTok? Also, there's one TikTok that goes, mommy's milk, right? It's so funny. I am definitely getting that energy, all right? And probably, you know, this person's saying that you do take care of others, and you do help and take care of others. We have dominatrix. It's time for you to be punished. All right, so I definitely think this person is saying, like, why you have a really sweet side, and maybe you really care about children, or you really care about helping others in the world. You also, or giving a hand to others, or you're a great teacher, or you're patient with others, or you hold space with others, or you happen to be good with children. There is another side of you that could maybe be emotional or impatient at times. And some of them may say that you have like an interesting past with religion, or your view of religion, especially when it comes to like sexual things, is very interesting. Or, you know, because of how you were raised, you definitely have like a freaky side or a kinky side. And, you know, I do think at times, like, they would say that you're very like sweet, loving, and nurturing person, but you also have a side of you that can be like very strict, or very kinky, or very unforgiving even at times, or maybe sometimes even dominating, right? Like, you know, your way or the highway, something like that, okay? I was gonna say, okay, Taurus, pile number 1, maybe some of you are Tauruses here, but you know, that very like sweet, loving, nurturing, mommy kind of energy, but at the same time, underneath it, a real freak, okay? We have frog, and yeah, I think they would say that sometimes, you know, that maybe you got upset, or you got paranoid, or you got worried about the relationship, or you got really worried about others, or you would like take a doom and gloom view of things sometimes, or you would like, you know, or maybe some of the things that you would tell them or say to them, or that were a little toxic, right? Because when I think of the frog, I think of, and our exes always, you know, we're someone's best friend, but we're also someone's, you know, toxic bitch, right? And it's not like, I don't think this person is saying that about you, pile number one. I think they're saying that sometimes, like when you're in a mood, you can really, like when you're in a good mood and you're like opening up your energy and you're helping others, but when you sense that something isn't fair or balanced, or when you sense that somebody is, you know, not being honest or truthful or whatever, and maybe even be a little bit paranoid about that, like looking for there to be trouble at times, okay? Maybe a little dramatic with the frog here. Yeah, interesting. And I also think too, the whole element of frog and, you know, that whole thing of having to kiss a few frogs, and some of them might have said that even you had like a sad past, or that you were with some bad people, or you're with you went through some pretty rough relationship energy. And that's kind of where you get this, you know, dominatrix side from, or where sometimes you get very strict about things. Maybe we have card 45 here, sad embrace. So, you know, I think they would definitely say like when this relationship ended, it was very sad for them. They felt very alone. They felt maybe a little bit abandoned, or that you left suddenly or quickly with this Chariot. Also, you know, with the Chariot too, with Cancer energy and tears, maybe sometimes like if you would get in a mood, you would be tearful, or maybe sometimes you would get into a funk, or you would get moody at times, okay? And yeah, that can happen. That can happen to people. It's, you know, called being human. Or maybe that some of you actually struggled with, you know, depression or things like that as well too, or changing moods at times. But it's because, you know, maybe you've had in your life, you've been with some really immature people, or you've had some very tough, you know, you've had to be very strong, and you've had some very tough lessons around relationships, okay? We have 10 of Cups, or water. And I think they would say that they really fell in love with you. They felt very deeply connected to you. They really saw a future together, and they were really, you know, drawn into the fantasy of being with you. And they might even say that sometimes it felt like a drug, or that, you know, it was like this beautiful vision that was kind of painted about what it could be with you two, you know. And we have the Magician here, but at times, look at her here. She's taking a screwdriver to this creature's mechanical penis, okay? And she's like, what if I just shoved this screwdriver in someone's pee hole, you know? It's like pile number one is a luring, beautiful siren who's calling sailors to their death with their, you know, gorgeous ass and amazing tits, and their, you know, like they're like a beautiful piece of art, you know, and a beautiful scenery, but you know, that maybe you could be unpredictable at times. And if you got into a mood, you could really go in and stick it to someone where it hurts, okay? Or the Magician, that you like to try freaky, kinky things. I'm getting that song, So You Say You Want to Get Away. What's that song? So You Say You Want to Get Away. And it's definitely a song about like fantasy. We don't need a something, we can always blah, blah. So you say you want to get away. Da, da, da. And it's a woman's voice, and it's very kind of soothing and honey-like in a way, okay? And yeah, it's this 10 of Cups is really reminding me of that. If some of you guys know what song I'm talking about, I know I didn't give a lot of, I'll look it up. It's about going somewhere. So you say you want to get away, we can take us something, you know, it don't even matter, we can, and it was that whole thing of adventure at the beginning that I was channeling, like get your motor running, head out on the highway looking for adventure, and whatever comes my way, that kind of energy, all right? Ooh, 9 of Cups. Yeah, and she's totally like flashing, like, and I think this person thinks like there's a lot of water energy here. So either like you're a very, you know, emotive person, a very excitable person, a very wet person, piled number one, you know, and some of you like maybe it's a fantasy about skinny dipping with you, or for those of you that have a white dress or would wear white at times around this person, you know, I think they would say you have a very nice voice. You're a very clean person. You have a very winning attitude as well. But, you know, when you're pissed or when you're frustrated about something or sad, you can get a little chaotic. You know, it's like in Dungeons and Dragons, like I'm chaotic good or whatever. What's all those sayings, like chaotic neutral, chaotic whatever, you know, I would say they would say you're something like chaotic good, you know, that at times when you're not feeling it, you can really throw a monkey wrench or a screwdriver in someone's pee hole, pile number one, okay? But for the most part, you have a really good disposition, 9 of Cups and 10 of Cups, and you're a very clean person, and, you know, like you may come a lot, or you're a very wet person, okay? I mean, hopefully they're not going to say that to just anybody, right? Because it's obviously personal information. We have, oh, and this is so perfect. We have Moonstone and Nurturing. Moonstone is the yin counterpart to Sunstone. Oh, it's like the sun going down on me. Yeah, I was channeling that. The moon and the sun. Yeah, the moon and the sun and the stars in the sky. All right. Moonstone is the yin counterpart to Sunstone and connects you with divine feminine and moon goddess energies. It enhances yin qualities such as intuition, sensitivity, and connection to one's emotions. Moonstone promotes caring and nurturing for yourself and others. With its association with mothering and motherhood, it can promote fertility and help heal mother issues. So some of you guys, your exes may talk about how you're a great person, but maybe you did have a challenging mother, you know, and despite that, you're a wonderful person. You know how to care for others, even though maybe you didn't have a lot of that care and love shown to you, right? And then, you know, it says here, I am connected to my feminine side. I always balance caring for others as well as nurturing my own needs. That's that 6 of Pentacles, I think, too, the balancing, the harmonizing, and yeah, and I think, you know, the emotionality is definitely there too. You know, the moodiness or the emotionality is here, right? But Moonstone is very gentle, and it's so funny you have dominatrix energy, because maybe sometimes when you are, or maybe you like to be punished sometimes, you know, hey, like sexually, but, you know, I mean, it's that nurturing. But I mean, there's also the dark mother, right? There's the nurturing, loving, life-giving mother. And then there's also the same mother who can take life away from you, right? So there's a famous quote that says, the moon is my mother. She's not sweet like Mary. And I think it's a Marge Piercy quote, who is a famous poet, but, or well-known poet. The moon is my mother. She's not sweet like Mary. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, a very intriguing, I feel a very emotive, warm, generous, you know, sexy, feminine, even if you're a man watching this, like nurturing, caring for others, beauty, all of that for sure. But something about the past or the toxic experiences from the past and the emotionality, and maybe also emotional volatility at times when things are not going right. We have the Lover and Leo. So they would say, like, you do get noticed a lot. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, you're very, and I'm drawn to this lion, like it's a female lion too in the background, roaring, you know. It's like, hey, I'm here. You know, I'm getting the name Danielle right now too, or versions of that name like Daniela or Danielle or Danny for like a woman's name, D-A-N-I. Okay, and Desi or Desiree too. I'm getting that kind of name, but definitely something very sexy about your hair or your sultry look, or the way you present yourself. Very in fashion, very in flow, very en vogue. Pile number one. yeah, and you shine. People definitely notice you, right? And they were, you know, captivated, I feel, as well. And yeah, and I feel like they're saying, you know, that they would say for someone so beautiful, so giving and loving and nurturing, it would be hard maybe to see you at lower points, or points when you were doubting yourself, or when, when you maybe expected the worst out of people sometimes, and the third house perception, I think they would talk about maybe how you perceive yourself at times. And, and I also feel like the third house is also kind of chaotic. It's, a Mercury house, and we have the Magician here too in your reading. And it's kind of that chaotic good energy that I was talking about. And I think they would say like sweet kicks or something like that too. I don't know if you ever had a pair of shoes that you would wear sometimes. It was kind of funny, but there's also like hobbies. I feel some of you may have creative hobbies like photography or vlogs, or, or a quirky sense of humor, or that maybe you would like get bored with things easily at times, or that you were very social as well too with the third house. Okay. Yeah, so interesting, and I think you're one of those people that other people notice, and that you do exude confidence, but at times they were like, why, I feel like sometimes they would have said, hey, pile number one, like, how I feel about you, why are you so upset, or something like that. Or maybe always having to feel that they had to sort of prove their love to you, right? But you can see why, if some of you have had some real toxic people in your past, or even a very toxic mother, or just, situations like that. I would say they'd also say you were very independent as well, and well-spoken with the third house. We have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon, all right? So I think that they would say that they know that your life is going somewhere, and that they met you at a time when things were rapidly shifting or changing, or they know that you're headed somewhere in your life, somewhere exciting, that you're a star, or you shine brightly, or you're very attractive, and they're sure that even if, they're not with you anymore, like they're sure that you're having an exciting life, or you're meeting new people, or you're very, Spirit is giving me the S names and the C names right now, like Sean or Chad, okay? Or Shauna, it could be a female name too, but I feel like they're like pile number one is going places, regardless of whether I'm in their life or not. Like pile number one is clearly going places, and is going to be like, their energy is going to be well known to others, I feel like, okay? So yeah, that's interesting, pile number one. Let's go ahead and let's just get two more cards to close the reading here for messages from Spirit. Two more cards here about how this ex would describe, or how these past lovers in general would describe pile number one, okay? How would they describe pile number one? 10 of Wands, maybe that sometimes you're stubborn, or you insist on, or sometimes you have to learn the hard way, because you might be like, I've got it, I can handle it, or that you need someone sometimes to do like the heavy lifting for you, I mean, not everyone who watches my channel is feminine, but a lot of people are, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like back-breaking labor, not really for me. So maybe they're just saying like that, you could use some help with certain projects you have going on, or if you're trying to like remodel or do something that involves that type of like remodeling your place, or moving to a new place, or building a house or something like that. Like, it's almost like they're saying like, I hope you're preparing for this, right? This is going to be a big project, okay? I mean, you always seem to land on your feet, I feel, pile number one, but I think this person is saying something about being prepared. We have the Eight of Pentacles. I think they would say, and the Queen of Pentacles is on the bottom of the deck, so I think they would say that they respect you because you work hard and you don't give up, and you're strong, okay? And smart too, with the Eight of Pentacles, and they know that you're gonna go far, is what I feel like. And I feel some of them may say that because of some of the stuff you've been through, you may have thrown yourself into your work, or you may keep yourself really busy at times, you know, to like avoid looking at things, you know, or looking at what you lost, or working through the emotions, right? That might be something here too. But I think that they would definitely say that they're still interested in what you're up to and what you're doing and how things are going for you on a day-to-day basis. Some of them may be wondering like what you're doing for work, or what are you up to these days? And they know that you're doing big things, or that you will be doing big things, okay? So thank you so much, pile number one. I hope that helped you kind of understand what some of your past lovers would thought of you, or how they felt. And for those of you that want to join me on the extended reading, if you'd like to go deeper into this energy, if there's a particular person that you're thinking of, I tend to get more specific in the extended reading. So if there is someone in specific that you want to know about, or that you feel drawn to because I described them in particular in this reading, then follow me to the extended reading, pile number one, and the link will be in my description box below. So thanks so much, my darlings, and hope to see you again soon. Take care. All right, pile number two. Let's go ahead and do it to ya, pile number two. Okay, let's do it. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the yellow tea light, and today's reading is called What Your Past Lovers Would Say About You. Okay, what would they have to say? And we're gonna get into the tea spillage today, and we'll see what comes up, right? We're gonna show up, read the energy, and see what your past lovers, if we could take like the majority of your past lovers and put them in a bubble and ask them for all their you know, what did they think, or whatever, or how would they explain you to someone else, right? We're just gonna use this as a tool for self-awareness, or just greater reflection, all right? So thank you so much for being here, pile number two. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the energy. For those of you that would like to go deeper into this reading with me, we will have an extended reading, and you can follow the link below in my description box to the extended reading if you feel so inclined. Let's go ahead and do it. Namaste, pile number two. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the beautiful energy of my pile number twos. I love it, pile number two. Spirit is showing me a temple, is showing me like singing or chanting. Maybe some of you have been listening to chants or singing, or have visited a temple before in your life, or you've got a thing for going into like weird churches or Gothic cathedrals, or, you know, those griffin things that are on, you can see it like Notre Dame, etc. This is lovely. I love the chanting. Maybe some of you are very good at singing or music impacts you quite a bit, pile number two. Okay, and yeah, I feel very spiritually present, tapping into your energy. Let's go ahead and tap into some of your past lovers for my pile number two, please. And let's see, I'm getting the color red. Although this is the yellow tea light that you've chosen, I am getting the color red, so maybe that looks really beautiful on you, or they like that, or they really love, that was their favorite color, or maybe it's referencing fire signs as well, or like a fire burned brightly. So let's go ahead and get into it, pile number two. All right, Spirit is also showing me pills. Okay, so I don't know if somebody was sick with something, or took pills for something, or somebody had a conversation about that recently, but Spirit is also showing me that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the energy. It's 2:21 on my clock, 221 in pile number two. The Star. I love that. Pile number 1 got the Empress for their first card. All right. So I guess your past lover, past lovers, it seems like they're feeling very generous in today's reading in the way that they describe. And that's always good, right? That's always not very generous, but just, not just always highlighting the shitty things or the hard things, right? But saying, like, these are the good things that I appreciated about you. And I do feel like some of them may not have realized, how much you brought into their life, maybe until you were gone, or until that ship sailed, or until you took your love away from them, or until like you two had parted ways. I feel like some of them didn't really understand the full picture, didn't really see what was, and maybe they weren't very generous with you at times, like not really seeing you. It's almost like when things were dissolving, or when you were leaving, or when they were leaving, they finally understood, like, what a blessing it was to like meet you or be loved by you, right? Yeah, how sweet it is to be loved by you, right? So let's go ahead and see what else we have here. We have the 7 of Swords. Yeah, I think they would say, for those of you that lived with someone, all right, past lovers that you cohabitated with, or you lived with, or you spent a lot of time at each other's places, etc. I think it was rough. I think they would say that the separation process was quite challenging, like way more challenging than they expected it to be. And I do feel like your energy lingered with them, and they could have felt like it was pretty hard to shake your energy in a way, because the stars in the sky, like sometimes the light pollution blocks it out and we can't really see them that well, but they're always there, looking down on us type of thing. And I do feel like they would say like there's definitely regrets about, now that the emotions have died down, there's definitely regrets about things that were said or things that were done in moments like when you two parted, or when the situation broke, when the bottom kind of fell out on something. And Spirit's also giving me like making a hasty retreat. Like somebody made a hasty retreat or left suddenly, and there might have even been damage to like people's things, or there might have been damage to property, or there might have been like losses that were sustained in this process. And, and I think there might have been some energy of, well, I just got to get out of here, and at times it might have felt like you were like watching them, or that you were like too into their business, or maybe they had this energy of, I got to get away from you, right? We could have Aquarius energy here for sure with the Star and the 7 of Swords. They're both, but it's hindsight is always 20/20 with people. It's like they don't realize what an amazing person they had until they've moved on from that situation, and their emotions have settled down, and they start to see things, in a more like rational mindset. And it's in that moment that they are like, fuck, like, I guess I lost a lot here, and I think that they feel, they did, like, either they left in a hurry or they lost a lot in this connection with you. And I think it took them a while to get back on their feet. And, and I feel like, they would say that like life threw them a curveball in a way that they were not expecting. Okay. And, we have the 2 of Cups here too. So, I do think they would say at one point, you two were very bonded to each other. This is one of my favorite lover cards. If you guys can zoom in on this or really look at this, take a look at this 2 of Cups. It really does look like a meeting of the mind, a meeting of the heart. And, it's so funny because I felt like saying namaste and holding my hands that way at the beginning of your reading. And these two are doing that to each other. They're namasteing and bowing towards one another. And I do think at one point, there was respect or mutual devotion or affection. And, you know, and I think sometimes they're like, I don't understand. I feel like they don't understand what happened at times, you know, like why did the energy shift so suddenly, or why couldn't we hold on to that loving feeling, right? Or and some of them might even say like, you tricked me, you know, and again, pile number 2, this is, you know, this is from their perspective. So, you know, maybe, right, you got to take it with a grain of salt, but, you know, maybe even some of them might be like, you made me think that we were like together as one, you know, and that we thought about things the same way or whatever. And then I abruptly left you, or abruptly like things ended and I felt like, you know, like suffocated. Maybe some of them feeling that way too. Okay. Or just the level of intimacy. Maybe for some of you too, the level of intimacy that you wanted with this person, you know, maybe they just couldn't hack it. Pile number 2. Okay. And I feel sad, you know, I feel sad because I do think that and I don't want this reading to be sad, you know, so I'm going to ask Spirit, if you can be with us right now in pile number 2, and you can please help us shift the energy, help us to look at the good in all things and maintain our hope and balance in all situations. Okay. So I'm just going to say that here. And also I feel like there's one particular X that is coming through for you right now, pile number 2, but I'm also wanting to expand this because I'm sure you've had more than one relationship in your life, right? So let's expand the field here. Let's expand the field. And, you know, and I do think you have the ability to connect with people on a deeper level and really like understand the nuts and bolts of what makes people who they are, you know, and I think intimacy can be frightening for people sometimes, especially people who are not used to that level. They think somebody's like suffocating them or spying on them, you know, or something like that. It's like, no, I'm just trying to vibe with you and see how things flow, right? But some of you guys might have been dealing with some people who like the idea of intimacy in theory, but when it actually happens, it tugs on or maybe this is you as well. Like you like the idea of intimacy in theory, but you know, when things get to a certain point, it's like, ugh, you know, I mean, everybody has that. I feel like we all deal with that. Oh, red, there's the red. My favorite position is any you're in, but I have to admit it's the best mouth I've been in. All right. Well, something about that. What do they call it on TikTok? That gluck gluck 2000. I think that's what the kids use as the language for like going down on someone or being really good with your mouth. And yeah, so they're like, I hate to admit it, but I have to admit it. But you know, I feel your exes would say the sexual connection, both psychically, mentally, emotionally, was very deep. I mean, that can be very scary for people, pile number 2. And it can run really deep, right? And yeah, but definitely something about like your mouth and it being very sexy, your mouth and your hands. And look at the color red here, the red lips, the red nails. Yeah, very, very like, woo. Okay, pile number 2. Look deep into my eyes, open your mouth, express your desires before I head south. Yeah, something about the way you kiss, all right? Something about the way you do the things you do, right? I feel like this person is saying, you know, you're one of the sexiest kissers, you have a beautiful mouth, you have a beautiful smile, lips, you know, your touch is intoxicating. You know, there's definite passion, right? There's definite connection and passion and something about the hands as well too. Because the hands here, and then I'm noticing them here. Something about the hands for sure. And something about like looking deep into your eyes as well. It's that intimacy. It's that intimacy. It scares people sometimes, pile number 2. You know, yeah, oyster going back in my shell, that was scary, better, you know. And maybe some of you, like your person would say, or past lovers would say, you know, it was hard to get close to you at times because as soon as I would get close to you, like, or try to get closer to you, like you would go back within your shell and you would hide, or, you know, and you're like this very beautiful person. And so like you should share your energy with the world. Or maybe at times when you felt like abandonment, or you felt like someone was leaving or running out on you or disconnecting from you, you could get very prickly, or you could get very rough at times, you know, because I'm drawn to like all the little spikes on the oyster too, right? It's like a protection. So if I feel like someone's going to leave me, I'm going to leave them first, right? I'm not going to allow myself to be put into that position again. You know, there's kind of a defensiveness there too, all right? Like, it's almost like your past lovers would say, like, you're a very in tune person. You're very connected psychically, emotionally, and, you know, maybe sometimes you would like run when there was a deeper connection there, or they would run, right? And kind of what it would do to you too, okay? So let's see what else we have here. Unexpected visitors, okay. They might say that you did not like unexpected visitors, or people that, you know, crossed your boundaries, or people that didn't properly like, and I also feel this is like a wall or a boundary that maybe you would hide behind a wall at times, and that they would want to connect deeper with you, or that they could sense that you wanted to connect deeper, but it was hard for you to come out of your shell. And turpentine. I think that's a album by Brandy Carlisle. For those of you that know, there's a song called Turpentine, I think, or Turpentine, or an album, but I'm just drawn to that right now. And maybe the name Brandy is relevant here too, but I feel like, you know, you guys could maybe be a little bit like, I don't know. And maybe sometimes you were a homebody, or you didn't always feel like venturing out, or you only wanted to let certain people into your life. Like you could be like, I don't know about that, you know, or I'm not sure about that. Or maybe you would hang back a little bit, or kind of go within your shell at times, you know. And definitely maybe not liking people showing up at your place unannounced, or just being like, leave me alone sometimes, you know, that maybe you would, if you got into your circle, I feel like you're very welcome. A person would be very welcome, but you're also like, if I don't know you, then I'm not going to like volunteer a bunch of information or even get super close, right? So I think that they would say maybe sometimes you're a little reticent as well, okay? The Hermit, of course. Yeah, Virgo energy, the Hermit. We have Virgo, Aquarius. I feel like Cancer is here too. You could have Cancer in your chart, but also be like an Aquarius or a Virgo. I feel like they would say sometimes you could be a lone wolf, or you could be a loner, or you didn't like a lot of people trying to intrude on you, or maybe you needed time alone or time outdoors, or that you would get very crabby or tired or irritable, you know, if you were out in public a lot, or if you didn't get proper sleep or proper rest or the right food, that you could get real, you know, cranky or persnickety, or, you know what I'm saying, pile number 2. Yeah, and that's more like daily habits and stuff. I think they would say like some of your daily habits and things, or maybe the way, like maybe some of you were night owls, but yet you would be very crabby or very irritable, or just feel like shit the next day, you know, and then you'd snap or something like that. I'm kind of feeling that. I'm also getting like Balencia. What's Balencia? Isn't that a type of a clothing brand? Balencia. Isn't that a luxury clothing brand? Maybe some of you guys know that, but yeah, I feel like they would say like you would kind of turn into Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like when things would just like the next day, like after maybe, I mentioned pills at the beginning of the reading, maybe some of you like to party or whatever, take certain things, or you just take natural supplements with the hermit energy, but sometimes it would maybe not produce the best reaction in you, and you would get, also some of you may have been obsessed with cleanses or physical health or dieting or things like that as well, and maybe it made you very crabby at times too. All right, yeah, I think they would say something like that. And 6 of Pentacles here. So I think they would say you could get like that at times. Like you could get, you know, irritable, you could feel snappy, or if you didn't get the right amount of sleep or whatever. But they would also say that when you're, you know, like when you're at your best is when you're well fed, when you're not hangry. You know, some of you may get hangry, you know, but you're dieting or whatever, right? But you get hangry. They would say, you know, you're the best when you're well fed, when that ass is thick, when, you know, when you don't care, like, because you're beautiful and you don't give a fuck and you're just walking around naked or walking around in your underwear, or, you know, or even I feel like some of the things that you collect, or they might say something about your house or the way you decorate is very nice, or the things that you collect are very interesting. Like some people like vintage or like different type of things, or you might have had really interesting things at your house or that you kept. Some of you may have even had exotic pets, I feel like too, okay? Maybe like a snake or a bird or whatever, but yeah, just very, I get that quirky kind of interesting energy. And look at you, it's more Virgo energy, it's Venus in Virgo, all right? And I think they would say like that you were a tease at times too, that, you know, you could be a real, like maybe at times you could be an instigator or purposely instigating things, or that you could be a tease at times with the things that you would wear, especially the underwear you would wear, or like if you'd bend over in front of them in your underwear. I think they would definitely talk about that ass, okay? This is the booty pile again. And I think sometimes maybe your fashion choices would be a little bit interesting to them at times too, you know? And I think you guys would be like, what? Like I dress, what are they talking about, you know? But I mean, I feel it's cute in a way too, pile number 2, like some of the things that you would wear around them, or like maybe you just wear outside to like walk the dog or run an errand or whatever. They'd be like, okay, you know, and I feel like you made this person laugh a lot sometimes with the things that you would do, or the quirky habits that you had, or the way that you would act at times. I feel like this person, especially if they were an Aquarius, and Aquarians have an appreciation for that quirkiness, you know, and I think you would amuse this person at times, for sure. I think there was a side of you that was like very interesting and intriguing, and even sometimes your moods, or if you would get irritable or whatever, I feel like they'd be like, yeah, all in a day's work, you know? But anyway, pile number 2, we have Emerald and Prosperity. Emerald, a heart chakra crystal, opens you up to the abundance of the universe. As long as what you want is your heart's desire, Emerald will help you attract it in your life. It connects you to the frequency of divine love and reminds you that you are worthy and deserving. Yeah, I definitely feel that, like especially for those of you that have dealt with abandonment, or Emerald is also like a Venus stone. It is a heart chakra stone. It's the month of May, so for any of you born in the month of May, but yeah, it says, I have a prosperous mindset. I know that I live in an abundant universe and that I will flourish, grow, and succeed. Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like this person thinks that, you know, you're on a good path, you know, you're on a good path in your life, and you're unique and different, and, you know, even though you do things your own way, like, you're a very intriguing and interesting person, okay? And something about the heart chakra too, opening up the heart chakra, that whole intimacy, abandonment pattern, I feel like, you know, thinking through that. But yeah, this emerald is, I say, they say you're like, you know, a precious gemstone, right? Very beautiful emeralds. I used to have an emerald ring when I still have it actually, I think. I got it when I was 19 years old. I've had it forever, and it was my first like little piece of jewelry I bought myself. I also think emerald's like a symbol of like self-love too, you know? We have Chiron and healing. Okay, so for sure talking, and I also think this person, if for those of you that are interested in remedies or natural health or, you know, things like that, I think they would say that you worked really hard to heal yourself, or you've worked really hard to release, you know, shame or self-doubt or any inherited issues, and that you may be into cleansing as well, like detoxing and cleansing and getting everything out of the system as a way to kind of work through emotions as well. It's kind of that mind-body connection. Love that. And we have opposition. And I do think you and this person maybe were, I think they would say that you two balanced each other out at times, but also that you were very different. And so I feel like sometimes they're saying like they just left you alone because maybe they thought they were causing more harm than good, or they, you know, I think they would say that maybe sometimes they wondered if they were better off without you, or that, you know, each of you were doing your own healing work at the time. And I do feel like this person has a different view on the situation now with the Star card. I think some of them do want to make amends for certain things that happened as this relationship was going on. And, you know, with opposition, there might have been some fights, or there might have been some misunderstandings is also what I feel that caused you pain. And yeah, I think they would say that sometimes people challenge you or hurt you and upset you, but that you do forgive people, and, you know, that you do your best to work through things, okay? So that's good. We have, oh, here's the new moon in Virgo. So a ton of Virgo energy in this reading as well. A new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than to take, right? And there is something in this reading about self-love, giving back to ourselves, especially for those of us that have felt, you know, discarded, abandoned in love. And yeah, I think this person would say that like you're a very giving person, that you think of others first, but sometimes that's caused you a lot of pain. And sometimes like you need to balance that out by giving to yourself first. And yeah, and I feel like I'm speaking more to their higher self now, like what their higher self would say about you. And because maybe some of them are not that conscious of really everything that was, I feel some people you've been with, pile number 2, have not been super conscious about these patterns. You know, they're kind of like, well, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. I guess I'll just go, you know, which is not really like learning, right? And I feel like you do learn and you do try different things, pile number 2. And so that's kind of what puts you in a bit of a different category than some of your past lovers, okay? And that's why you're like the Star card. It's like more remote in a way. Let's see what the cards have to say. Spirits, angels, and guides, can you give me 2 more cards here to top off the reading and show me what the past lovers of pile number 2 would say? We have the 8 of Pentacles. It's so funny. The 8 of Pentacles showed up in pile number 1 as well. I think they would say, you know, I'm a work in progress myself. I'm still working on myself. I feel like some of them would say that they're not, your past lovers would say that their life hasn't really like changed that much since you were with them in the past. Like the things they do on the daily, the things that they are into, or the things that they do are pretty much the same. And I do feel like you're kind of an anomaly with the Star card, which is a beautiful thing, you know? And I do think that you brought color and amusing, you know, interesting things into their life. And I think their world has been, while they've been productive, I think it's been a little bit bland. Like your past lovers, their world has been a little bit bland, you know, it's like all brand cereal, you know, with just plain milk. It's nothing too special about it. Not to pick on the Eight of Pentacles because it's a great card, but I feel like they're just saying, you know, my life isn't like dazzling or anything, okay? It's just day to day. They're still kind of doing the same thing. Let's see what else here. The Sun. Okay. So, and you have the yellow tea light here. And I feel like they're saying, you know, my life is not like really that exciting on a day-to-day level, but I feel like I want you to be happy. I feel like you're probably having more fun than I am, or you're enjoying life better since we parted ways, you know, Six of Swords on the bottom of the deck, you know, Five of Cups, the Tower, right? Being a huge breakthrough, leading to the Magician, all right? That, you know, it was hard what we went through, and I feel like their life is still kind of the same now that you've moved on or they've moved on. But I do think they think that you're probably, I don't know, maybe it's your social media or what you're putting out there, but you got a glow up atmosphere around you, pile number 2, and people noticing you, people seeing you shining brightly, the star, the sun, and you probably look like you're having a good time, okay? Even if it doesn't feel that way on the inside, and you've really had to work through this energy, and you know, you've really had to work through the self-love and showing up for yourself. I feel like, you know, at least the impression that you're giving to this person is that, you know, you're doing really well. And I feel like some of you are indeed actually doing well, and you are expanding your world, and you are having more fun, or you are learning how to get on without this person or people, okay? In a healthy way, I feel, pile number 2, okay? So that's very positive, and I think, you know, this person can pick up on that, all right? So thank you so much, pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and we are going to take it to the extended reading. And if you want to go deeper into the energy of this reading, you can follow the link in the description box below to my Vimeo channel. And I tend to get a lot more specific on the extended readings, and you know, and I definitely feel in your guys' pile, there was someone in particular coming forward, or one person for sure. In pile number 1, I felt it was more like in general, but for you guys, I feel like it was more of a specific energy, okay? So let me know if that resonates for you, pile number 2, and I hope you guys take care. Blessings on your path, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to pile number 3. All right. Let's do it. Pile number 3. Let's do it. Do it to it. All right. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the purple tea light, and we're asking the question today, what your past lovers would say about you. If we could get all your past lovers in a big old, you know, party together with cocktails and party favors and appetizers, and they just started all talking about you, what would they say about you, pile number 3, okay? Would it be exciting? Would it be fun? Would it be sad? Would it be interesting? You know, probably a mix of everything, right? But we're going to go ahead and look at it today, pile number 3, in the spirit of reflection and learning and growing, and also just tea spillage as well. And for those of you that would like to follow me to the extended reading, I will have one on my Vimeo channel, link in the description box below if you want to go deeper into the energy of this reading. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and channel it in. Actually, it's so funny. I'm holding the purple tea light, but I definitely feel like I saw something blue, or I saw a blue tea light, or spirit was just showing me blue. So maybe some of you have, you know, you're wearing blue, or you thought this was blue, or you wish it was blue, or you're just under the blue sky today, okay? Yeah, it's funny. I feel like some of you are like, no, Natalie, I'm in a shroud of darkness, you know, and hey, pile number 3, like that's where I feel like as humanity, that's where we've kind of been, right? And so, yeah, we shall prevail, pile number 3. Let's go ahead and channel it in. Spirits, angels, and guides, for my beautiful pile number 3s who chose the purple tea light, please help connect me to their energy and the energy of their past lovers. Thank you. All right, Spirit just showed me pancakes. Pancakes. All right, maybe you had pancakes with this person, or you made them, or you liked breakfast in bed, or past lovers did that for you, or you shared that experience with someone. I'm also getting whipped cream. All right, maybe you liked food and sex. I mean, maybe you're a foodie or you like food. You know, yeah, Spirit's showing me like, oh, okay, or my guides are showing me like somebody licking whipped cream off another person. Maybe you and this person did stuff, or you have done stuff like that with a person. All right, pile number 3. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm getting the K names like Kevin, or just K names in general, first name, last name, middle name. And let's go ahead and get into the beautiful energy, pile number 3. So what would your past lovers say about you? We have the 7 of Chalices. All right, maybe sometimes that it was hard for you to make up your mind about what you wanted, or, you know, it's like, well, what do you want for dinner tonight? I don't know. I'm not sure. Or make up your mind about what you wanted relationship-wise, or sometimes maybe your head was a little bit in the clouds. This card is a Venus and Scorpio card, but it always reminds me it's very Neptunian. It's almost like, or maybe some of you like to party or drink sometimes, or just the epic times that you and past lovers would have, like having a couple drinks and then going up to the bedroom, or like what led up to that night. I definitely think too, it's because it's Venus and Scorpio, it feels like very desired, you know, desiring and lust-filled kind of energy too, sexually. And I'm definitely getting those sexual images from the very beginning. I'm seeing the initial N here for those of you that have an N name, their name or your name. But yeah, I feel like sometimes maybe they were like that, maybe they knew you at a time in your life where you were exploring a lot of options, or maybe you weren't entirely clear on where it was that you wanted to be, or what you wanted to do, or where you were headed, but that, you know, it was a damn good time. You know, pile number 3, we have the moon. Yeah. So being a little bit unsure of, and the moon in the tarot is associated with the sign Pisces. So we've got Scorpio and Pisces out on the table here. And, definitely a big Neptunian energy, I feel, water energy, or those of you that have Neptune heavy in your chart, or Pisces. But yeah, I think they would say sometimes like you're very creative, and some of the things that come out of your mouth, or some of the things that you say or do or create are very interesting indeed. I feel like maybe they would say sometimes it didn't seem like you wanted to see the truth about things, or maybe sometimes you were just like, you know, I don't really want to deal with that, or I don't want to look at that right now because it's not a good time, or, yeah. And I also think like with the moon too, like, you know, very like witchy energy as well. Like you put a spell on me and now you're mine, right? So for those of you that resonate with the moon, like from like the moon cycles as well, I feel like maybe they could be making a comment about your cycle or your period, or how you would get at times, maybe for some of you, or that you were very changeable, you know, the moods could shift at times. Okay. So let's see what else we have here. We have 5 of Cups. Yeah. So I think that they would say, you know, that maybe there was certain, when they knew you, there were certain choices that you were making in your life, and it wasn't leading you down a good path, or that, you know, some of the things that you did were, you know, made it harder for you, or made it harder for the relationship or the connection to thrive. Maybe some self-defeating behaviors as well here too. And I feel like sometimes maybe you would be like, you know, I'm drowning, or I need help with something, or this situation has gotten very overwhelming. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Pile number 3. I mean, sometimes that's where we're at. And people that can ask for help, like that's, you know, that's really good, because a lot of people can't, you know, they can't ask for that help. But I definitely feel like you could have been at a time in your life when you were going through, you know, I feel like maybe some of you were running from your problems when you met some past lovers, or you were, you know, some of you could have been going through a death, or a death of a loved one, or a death in the family, or, you know, the breakdown of a marriage, or you could have just been dealing with some real, you know, heavy stuff. And I feel like some of, like, life got heavy, or life got, you know, really, really challenging. And another, it's in 5 of Cups is the Scorpio card, right? So we've got Pisces, Scorpio, we've got 2 Scorpio cards out here, but you know, you were going through it. And, you know, I think that it was kind of chaotic at times, and maybe it was hard to like make plans with you, or maybe it was hard to see you at certain times, or I feel like for some past lovers, maybe they worried about you too as well, pile number 3, and like how you're doing. And I do think some of them may wonder now, like how you're doing now. And for those of you that kind of like disappeared from this person's life, or past lovers, like you kind of disappeared from their life, or you moved or you left, I think some of them may wonder, like, where is pile number 3 now? And, you know, have things kind of shifted? And I do feel like some of them would say, like past lovers would say, that you really got the shit end of the stick on a couple things, you know, in your life at the time, and that they were with you, and they could see that you were doing your best to pull yourself out of it, but that it wasn't easy at all, you know? And yeah, so, and it could have been like, maybe your past lovers felt like, not that you were using them, but maybe in a way, like using people for a distraction, or a way to like take your mind off of things. And all of us do that, you know, when we're going through like deep emotional stuff, like a lot of times, well, and sex can be very healing too, you know, in the sense that it brings that sense of closeness. It's also a pretty good distraction, you know, in times of, you know, deep emotional stuff. We have pillow talk. Whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Tell me all the things I want to hear. So I do think you guys, you're like, you know, your bedroom game, or your sending sexy messages or pictures, or, you know, your innuendos. I do feel like it was like top notch. You know, you had a way of really exciting this person. And I feel like sometimes maybe even over past lovers, maybe even overwhelming them. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm falling for pile number 3. I feel like I'm, you know, like in their clutches, and I feel like they just say the right things. And I'm like, okay, I'm theirs, you know? And it was that whole energy of like, I put a spell on you and now you're mine type of energy. Okay. So they may accuse you, like, you put a spell on me. I know you did, right? Or sending pictures. I feel like some of you could wear black, or black lingerie. And yeah, like the things that you say, really turning this person on, like very, very sexy. I feel like your past lovers would say. There's the black underwear. Please me right now, and please me again later. No one can stop us, not even our haters, okay? So yeah, I mean, maybe some of you were having, sometimes you had past lovers and you had clandestine affairs or secret affairs, or other people you knew just wouldn't be happy about some of the, you know, people can be controlling and weird about, even though everyone's a consenting adult, like people get all up, you know, get their panties way up their asses about what other people are doing. And I mean, maybe your life was intriguing to people at times. I feel pile number 3 wondering, you know, what is pile number 3 up to? Past lovers wondering, like, who else are you with, or what else you got going on, you know? And I do think past lovers, you know, they would say that you are a very determined person. When you want something, you don't let anything stop you. And especially from a sexual perspective, and that when you want something, you go for it. And also that you may like going multiple times in a night, you know, like that you know, that it's very hard to like ever like quench your desire, because you're very like, you know, you're very desirous that way. Pile number 3. Ooh, we have the Cobra, the King Cobra. All right, so for those of you that are guys that are watching this, and you have, I feel like if you're a guy watching this, I feel like your past lovers would say that you've got a big one, okay? All right, the King Cobra, because I know some men watch this channel too. So, you know, insatiable sex, desirous nature, and the King Cobra, all right? So I also feel like your past lovers might, for women watching this that like males, I feel like some of them would say maybe you were a size queen, or you like big, you know, you like big dicks and you cannot lie. Pile number 3, okay? So, yeah, with the Cobra energy. But I also feel like your past lovers would say that you have very hypnotizing eyes, and that at times you can, if you're angry or upset, you might even be a little bit intimidating or frightening, or that you may, like, some of the things that you could say could even like hurt someone as well too. Like if you get into a space where you're feeling angry, or like a woman scorned, you know, like don't piss off pile number 3. You know, they have a huge libido and they're super sexy, and you know, but they also don't give a fuck. Like if you fuck with them, they fuck back, okay? Pile number 3, that's what I'm getting here. Wow, we have 53 and listening. All right, so I think some of them would say that, okay, that maybe sometimes that they wished that, you know, they could have been going through something too, right? And I feel like some of them, a criticism they might have maybe is that you would have listened a little bit more maybe to them, or you would have, like, you know, taken 10 steps back in situations instead of just sometimes like throwing yourself. I mean, you're very passionate, I feel, pile number 3. So it's that 5 of Cups energy. Like you're very passionate, you get your emotions involved. You're very, like when you get activated in a certain way, you get very emotionally pulled in, right? And I think sometimes maybe they wish that you would sort of back up from a situation and maybe listen and take in a few more things. And maybe some of you can be stubborn or set in your ways at times, or insisting on certain things. And I think some of them are saying, you know, like if you would listen to me, or if you would, maybe things wouldn't go the way they would if you would kind of like listen to me at times, or take some feedback, right? Or let me help you, right? And, you know, and I mentioned that comment about letting people help each other earlier with this 5 of Cups. And I do think, you know, and I feel like some of them might, on the other side of the coin, they may say, well, you listened to me, you know, when I was going through some really hard times. Like you really did listen to me, and you really did listen to me patiently, right? So take it as it resonates, pile number 3, but you know where you're at, okay? We have the 4 of Cups, all right? So I think sometimes you would get yourself into a little bit of hot water, pile number 3, and then wonder, how the fuck did this happen? You know, now I'm here standing in this lake with this bucket, and there's a bunch of people around me with weapons pointed at me, and that you're just like, fuck, how did I get here, you know? And I think sometimes that would be, you know, a bit, how did I find myself in this situation? I don't know how I got here. This is kind of crazy. Like, what the hell is going on here, you know? I feel like maybe sometimes your ex-past lovers would say, maybe you would get a little too deep sometimes into things, and you not expecting certain consequences or emotional reactions, or even sometimes you might put yourself in dangerous situations or be kind of a risk taker at times, all right? And then we have the 7 of Swords. Yeah, we have the 7 of Swords here. So I also think sometimes they would say maybe you do things to spite people who are like, you can't do that, and then you go and do it, and then you get into some hot water and you're like, shit, you know? And with the Seven of Swords here, I think you guys are like, eat my ass, right? Haters, right? I mean, I think sometimes you could be cheeky, pile number 3. Like your exes would say that, if people back you into a corner, I mean, you're not going to be kept down for long, and that you're just going to be cheeky at the end of the day and be like, haha, I do whatever I want, maybe. Maybe here a little bit, damn the consequences, I'm going to go ahead and do what I want, right? Or you're not going to walk all over me, type of thing. And yeah, and maybe sometimes you could be stubborn because, Seven of Swords is Moon in Aquarius. So it's like my way or the highway, my thinking, even though like I didn't like the result or the consequence of what happened and I needed help, like bailing me out of it, right? I also feel like for those of you that bailed this person out a lot when they got into trouble or when things went down for them, I think they would also say that too. If the roles were reversed and you were the one that was actually bailing them out and you were the one that was actually helping them when they got into tough places, I think they would definitely talk about that as well. Pile number 3, okay? And we have the Fool. And I think they would tell people, like, even though, they were dangerous or reckless or whatever, or that they were just an idiot at times or not doing the right thing, that you would forgive them or take them back, or that, someone's a lovable fool, somebody is just living life on their own terms, consequences be damned in a way. And, and also I'm drawn to the long nose here, like the Pinocchio effect, right? Like saying like if they lied at times or they weren't truthful about things and it got them in hot water, that you would forgive them at times, or that you would try to be understanding towards them, okay? But I do think, and this pile number 3, I mean, I think you're a very deep person, and I think you do really care about the people around you, and you don't want to see people struggling, and you want to be there for them and stand up for people and all of that. So I see where that can come from, and I think that this person would say like, or people from your past would say like, thank you for giving me chances to like, thanks for giving me another chance, or thanks for taking me back, etc. For some of you that are listening, when I needed someone to talk to, right? I think some of them would say that about you too, okay? And we have petrified wood and divine timing. Petrified wood is the fossilized remains of an ancient plant. It points to Earth's long history and how all things develop and change over time. Yeah, that's right. And I get the sense there's a lot of living in the moment here with like the Moon and the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. It's like the emotions take over, living in the moment, the Cobra, etc. There is something about, how things develop and change over time. Petrified wood also reminds us that progress is sometimes gradual and gentle. Slow and steady growth, like that of a tree, often goes unrecognized. Be patient and have trust in divine timing. All right, I feel some of you in this pile may actually want to see if there could be hope in a situation with someone here, okay? And so I'm just picking up on that for some of you. Now that this connection could come back or be a part of your life again, or I'm getting that sense here. It says, I am patient. I trust that the events will unfold at the precise moment they are meant to happen. All right. But I also get to that, like, people aren't going to wait around forever, right? A tree has the luxury of like, staying around for hundreds of years and waiting forever, right? Actually, there was, I think it's on a show, Legacies, on Netflix, and it's about supernatural creatures and stuff. For those of you that have seen it, it's a follow-up to the originals, which is a vampire show. But on the Legacy show, I'm reminded of a person that was kind of turned into a tree, and was waiting for their person that they met, or they were a tree, but they fell in love with a person. And then they were together at one point, and then the tree like ended up waiting there forever. But once the tree woke up, like things came into human form, things had really shifted and changed, you know? So I think Spirit's showing me that, that example to show me that, you know, steady and slow growth like a tree often goes unrecognized. It's important growth, right? Be patient and have trust in divine timing, but also, you know, trees have the luxuries of waiting forever, hundreds and hundreds of years, but as humans, we don't have that luxury because, you know, we may live multiple lifetimes, but we just have this one lifetime in this body with this mission or whatever it is that we're doing here, you know? So yeah, so we don't have forever, like the clock will run out. And so I think that that's something to think about, pile number 3, especially if you've been in a pattern of kind of taking someone back, you know, multiple times at times, okay? So interesting energy. We have Venus and love. Yeah, so Venus, you know, love and Venus, beauty, harmony, romance. I think your past lovers would say that, you know, you're a romantic, that you believe in love, that you're very attractive, you're very tasteful, you have style, you have grace, right? You've got style, you've got grace, pile number 3. And, you know, that you're blossoming like a flower, that you're very beautiful, and that you are like the epitome of love, which is beautiful. And I don't think you give up on people easily. That's the other thing that I think they're saying. And that's like real love, unconditional love, you know? We have 7th house of relating. So again, this is like the Libra house, or the house that's ruled by Venus, the house of partnership in astrology. So we could have, you know, Libra energy here, or people that have a very heavy 7th house in their astrology chart. But, you know, I feel like they would say that like you're happiest when you're with others, when you're with a partner, when you're married. For those of you that have been married before, that you're happiest like when you're in a partnership and you can share your life with someone, and that, you know, that these energies should be balancing out for you at some point, because I'm drawn to the scales here too, okay? And I mean, things need to be fair and equitable, and there needs to, but that communion with the other is like, you know, crucially important, okay? And I think they would say that you're one of those people that is like ride or die, you know, like you do offer unconditional love to the people that you care about. You know, that's very beautiful, pile number 3. That's beautiful. We have full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. For some of you that have been wondering, like, I'm being very patient about this connection. I feel like some of you, you know, we're talking about all your past lovers, right? And we did talk about that too, but like, I feel there's someone in specific here, and you're really listening for a sign. I feel like pile number 3, maybe from me, or you listen to other readers, but you know, conclusions are within reach, okay? Regarding, and we have another eclipse coming up in November in a couple of months. We're gonna have the other annular eclipse that happens, like we have them in June, and then we have them in, or, you know, June, July, May, June, July. And then we also, like lately, we've been having them in that time frame. And now we've got another one coming up in November, and also early December. Okay, so, you know, full moon eclipse, we do have one coming up in a couple of months. So you can expect, and actually the eclipses in 2022 are going to be in Taurus and Scorpio. And there is a ton of Scorpio all over this reading. So, you know, next year, some big changes happening for the Tauruses and Scorpios, as the eclipses are going to be, the nodes are going to be moving out of Gemini and Sagittarius and into Taurus and Scorpio. So, the North Node in Taurus, the South Node in Scorpio. So the eclipses are going to be, a lot of the eclipses are going to be taking place in Taurus and Scorpio. Okay, so coming up. So interesting energy, you know, and I do think you're soon probably going to have an answer on this, okay? As patient as you've been, pile number 3. So let's go ahead and get a couple of cards to close the reading. What would these past lovers, what is their parting message here? What's the parting message? We have 9 of Cups. All right, so in general, I think your past lovers are like, I hope you're happy. I hope that you're happy like with the choices that you made with their life, that, and I don't mean that, and I don't think your past lovers mean that in a mean way. Like, I hope you're happy, haha, not like that, pile number 3. But like, I hope that like a genuine, I hope you're happy, okay? I hope you found someone good that really cares for you, that you're in a good partnership. I think a lot of your past lovers wish you well. You know, even if things got hard at times, I think they do. I think they have genuine good feelings towards you. And I think they also like remember how good you made them feel too, right? And that's the one thing. It's always like at the end of the day, like, you know, and I mean that emotionally, physically, you know, in a lot of different ways, right? But I think they're just, your past lovers are saying, you know, yeah, I did feel good. I felt good when I was with you, and it was, you know, time well spent. Okay, so let's see what else here. What's the other message here? 8 of Swords. I think some of your past lovers would say, I hope you realize how, you know, like how much you deserve, how much you give, and that you don't hold yourself back. I hope you know what you want now. I hope you know what makes you happy. I hope you know what, you know, I hope you're not like in the dark about that anymore. I hope you're not confused about that. I hope you know what you deserve now, right? And I hope that you've been able to kind of cut down on some noise and really just simplify things in your life. And I feel like your past lovers kind of have like a wish for you, you know, in a way. And that's kind of nice, you know. The messages were all different in every pile, but I do feel like some of them are saying like, I hope you've, because maybe in the past you didn't know like what would make me happy, or even understand sometimes that maybe you were making some decisions from a point of being confused or not knowing what direction to take, right? And I think they're also saying like, I hope things settle down a little bit for you too, not like boring, but just in a nice way, that there's not so much like rampant confusion or questioning of every single thing, or, you know, that you have a sense of peace these days, and you're satisfied and happy with your life, okay? Yeah, that's what I'm getting, pile number 3. So I hope that reading was informative for you. All the piles had way different messages, and it was very interesting to read all 3. So thank you so much, pile number 3. And if you want to join me on the extended reading and go deeper into this energy, you can click the link to my Vimeo channel below, and just make sure you choose the right pile. You had pile number 3. Make sure you find the reading, your right pile, if you're looking to purchase an extended reading, and we will go deeper into the energy there. So thank you so much, pile number 3. Thank you so much to everyone, and have a beautiful day, my darlings. Take care.